Yo, what up guys? Another week of ACS. As you guys should probably know by now, this is going to be the losers finals. So we're just basically running the last stretch until the second season of the ACS is over. I'm going to be solo casting this fine Saturday because, people had other commitments and the players end up deciding the time at the end, but it doesn't matter. What matters is that we are here. We are basically ready to go. This is going to be a CIS, a Russian match, if you will, Pavtan versus RazDva. Both of these players making a pretty good run. Pavtan obviously coming from the winner's side, losing to DIQ. DIQ already waiting in the grand finals for whoever wins this loser's finals. But so without losing too much time on this, I think we'll just go through the deck lists. There is obviously delay on the cast as usual, guys. As you know, my name is Nine. I am the tournament organizer and I'm going to be casting this. This is going to be a best of 7, which means that both players have submitted 6 deck lists and there will be a ban, all right, according to the rules. So let's have a look at what Pavtan's brought to the table. Pavtan, a well-known mono-black economy player, also dips or plays a little bit with red from here and now, but mostly known from queuing on econ. And according to that, as expected, we're going to see him bring 2 copies of mono-black econ as per the rules, and he also submitted a couple of copies of mono-red. One of which has been banned by Raz. So Pavtan only gonna be able to win once on his mono red deck. Beside those 2 tier 1 established decks, we are gonna see Pavtan bringing red green ramp to the table, as well as red black mid range. This is baby's red black list. So Ring the Lich and the PA. On the other hand, thanks for the follow, CR Mato1. On the other hand, we are going to be seeing RazDva bring a couple of copies of mono red to the table, as well as a couple of copies of mono blue. If you guys are interested in looking at the lists, do check out Twitter. As on the stream, if you go to @artifact lists, the lists will be down there. But basically, this is a relatively standard mono blue with OD. All right. We will go through the lists and some details as the game progresses. Players are texting me and they're saying they're ready and they want to go at it. His last list, as shows up on the screen right now, is mono red with a splash of Lich, which he's brought before, and red green ramp was banned for him. So looks like the players are ready and seems like we are good to go. So guys, if you are watching and you feel like there's something with the audio or something's off, like I said, there is some delay, so do let me know how things are going and I'll try to adjust as we go. But hopefully everything's working properly. And we should be good to go. So all right. So looks like Pavtan's picking up mono black and Raz picking up mono blue. I wonder if Raz expected this. Obviously, this is theoretically a very good matchup for... oh wait, I need to spec myself. Very good matchup for mono black in general, but we've seen Raz win before against mono black with his mono blue list, so he does have experience with the deck. Excuse me guys, I feel like the music's too high. Let's go to 40% here. All right, again, you guys let me know how the stream quality is. All right, just adjusting my headset a little bit. I don't want to have the music pounding in my ears. Yeah, so off we go. Let's have a look at Raz's mono blue. So Raz, previous weeks, he was running Stonehull plates to counter the mono black. Very good armor in general, just a very good counter to mono black. He's not running it this time around, so I don't know if he was expecting to face another deck besides mono black. I don't know what level of mind games he was expecting to play here. But yeah, this might backfire. His hand, though, pretty decent, holding an Annihilation for whenever that's going to be necessary, and just having the ability to cycle through his deck with this Foresight, with this Compel, and also the Aghanim Sanctum, which is basically untouchable against mono black. Now, something to keep in mind here is the flop was relatively decent for Raz, no heroes dying, and what that means basically is that Pavtan is not going to be able to get traction going and generate gold quite just yet. He did get a pretty hefty hit on the tower of lane 1, so that's good. Feels like something's off. Alright, there you go. The joys of solo casting. Guys, bear with me a little bit as I adjust the stream settings and so on. Should be good to go. Don't know why these things are off. Don't recall messing with OBS, but there you go. Everything should be fine.
I will cleanse the world of your presence.
So we see the Sanctum come down, double deploy from Raz onto lane 1. And like I mentioned, Pavtan hasn't seen any paydays, hasn't seen any tracks, hasn't seen any Iron Fog gold mines, so basically nothing in the way of gold generation. But he's gonna have to do it the good old hard way, killing heroes. He's up to 7 right now. The Ignite comes down. Do bear in mind the Essence Aura does activate with improvements, but not so lucky this time around. And we're gonna see the Tearglody come down in response to that. Once the coast is clear, getting those 8 damage in, so good for the cost of 4 mana. So generally Pavtan, despite not striking gold, he is getting some decent tower damage in. Lane 1 is all but dead. Obviously there is an Ignite, so Raz signaling that he wants to really fight for this. And with the Disciple on the table, those -2 armor just make the Ignite just so strong. The problem here is though that the lane at 1, any Tearglody, that or March of the Machines that Pavtan draws is just gonna spell doom for that tower. But Raz feels like it's worth fighting for it, it looks like. He is taking his sweet time to the side, but it seems like he really wants to defend it. I wonder if it wouldn't have been better to just defend mid, because now if he loses his tower anyway, mid is going to be slightly punished for that. And there's the Tearglody. So it's really... He already had the March, obviously, so it's really just picking your poison. I don't think he cares, and he goes for mid. So this is just how bad this matchup is if Raz doesn't get a really good start, and despite Pavtan not hitting any gold cards, you can just see how the mono blue deck is really struggling to do something, because black just has so many cross lane options, just has so many direct damage options to the tower and to the heroes, that it becomes extremely difficult to do something. And obviously with the blue heroes, with the reduced mobility in the first rounds of the game, that just means that, well, if the ganks come out, if the deployments aren't absolutely on point, This is a disaster scenario for Raz as it stands. So he's taking his time deciding whether he's going to Diabolic Rev here. Mid tower at 26 HP with 15 damage coming in is going to mean that the Oglodi is just going to be about enough to finish that. And he's trying to go in for the kill on Pavtan's tower here, but little does he know he's going to be marched. So he's going to have to commit a bit more in the way of resources there. I think this is going to be 23 damage. No, why? Yeah, exactly. So tower down to 3. Another Oglodi would just directly kill the tower, but I presume we're going to be having to see the march come down to lane 1, because Pavtan has no heroes coming in just about now. The silver lining for Raz, though, is the Arcane Assault into Annihilation will probably mean that he gets to contest the mid lane for a bit longer. But he's gonna have to have a really good sequence of rounds and turns, chaining initiative and removal spells to make this happen. And the other thing is just if another march comes down. I'm surprised that Pavtan didn't drop march into lane 1. Would have been an upkeep kill on the Zeus. Opting to keep initiative, but that's very optimistic considering the amount of cards that Raz has already seen. Feels like Pavtan could have done better by just placing the march here, because he would have taken the tower and he would have prevented giving an easy tower to Raz. So, I mean, this seems like an easy Jasper's drop into Arcane Assault, into Annihilation. He's obviously got a Sanctum, so he can still place something else on top if he wants. Starting to feel like this is all just going to come down to Pavtan's draws now. I cannot imagine that Raz doesn't just take the tower. Okay. And as I say that, he's not going to take it. So he's confident in the ability of the Kana to do that for him. And Pavtan's going to be playing Spacebar Simulator until lane 3. He's going to have another round to decide where to put that march. I did not even account for the at any cost, so absolutely brilliant, puts pressure here. So I really even feel more like the march should have come onto lane 1 for Pavtan. But let's see, he's keeping his options open. He's keeping his options open by not playing it. So he just really needs to buy himself as much time as possible to put absolute maximum pressure onto Raz, to having to keep initiative, having to keep using those removal spells. And as Pavtan takes a second, I also do. Drink him some tea, guys. Keep hydrated. Hope everyone's feeling good and healthy in these times. All right, the march comes down to lane 2, so he's basically saying that he'd rather deploy a hero into first. That's how I read this. Lane 1 is unsalvageable at any time, in any way. Out comes an Assassinate. So this is probably going to force Raz to commit 2 heroes into lane 1. Luckily, due to the lane spread, Chain Frost not going to be efficient in killing 2 heroes in any case. In lane 1. Right, the OD comes down, initiative remains for Raz here. Is Raz going to be able to turn this around? This game seemed basically unwinnable. Pavtan's still got one Aglodi and 2 Marches in his deck to just straight up end the game. And he's not deploying first? I'm surprised. He's got the Assassinate. And he's got the Gank. Double deploying feels weird as well, because if an Eclipse comes down, I feel like you just gotta deploy one of those 2 heroes into lane 1 and one into lane 2. Probably the Bounty into mid and the Tinker into left. If a Thunder God's Wrath comes out, okay, your Tinker dies, but... okay. Goes for the double deploy mid. What that allows him is to maybe tank Eclipse. It might be what he's looking for. There is actually no Eclipse in hand right now. Oh, the at any cost. There's a 1 in 3 chance that this Luna hits the bounty. However, with the March, the at any cost will suicide the blue heroes as well. So he might just opt here to draw some cards. Or do that. Does he have another one? He does. Okay, so he can just kill both heroes from lane 1. That's another way to clean the lane. And I'm starting to feel like Raz has got a very good grip on this game. That Lich is kind of useless. Mid lane's free for him. The March is not gonna kill those creeps just yet. He can now deploy another portal. Draw more cards if he wants. He might also want to drop the Jaspers, if I'm honest. So I feel like you want to foresight. There he goes. Oh, and he gets the Essence Aura. That's so huge. Absolutely huge. That's going to allow him to double Dimensional Portal if he wants. And mind you, even if Pavtan had a second March to drop here, that's kind of great, because you still prevent the lane 1 from dying. Because Pavtan's game plan was really anyway to drop a March into lane 1. I can't believe Raz is going to steal this. Starting to believe. 2 heroes coming in. It's 14 damage. If he plays another Eclipse, that's going to be up to 20 damage. It's going to be a 2-hit. Or he can just drop the Jaspers. 16 onto 16, that's going to be enough. Except these 3 creeps are going to die either way. So I feel like you Dimensional Portal here, and then you'll just see what happens, because lane 3 isn't taking much damage. Yeah, and again, I kind of feel like Pavtan should have probably deployed 1 hero into first and 1 hero into mid. Feels like he was a bit scared of the Eclipse. It's really difficult, these situations, for the player, because you gotta try to play around something, and you can't play around everything, right? So also the other thing is that there's still 3 Annihilations in Raz's deck. So many options to keep the game game And Pavtan should try to, I believe, make that in a Stonehall plate. Pavtan should try to make it as hard as possible for Raz to potentially kill something. And this time around, dropping 2 heroes into first, I still feel like that's a mistake, because Raz can just annihilate and win. Is Pavtan gonna double deploy 2 rounds in a row? I mean, I realize this is such a difficult decision to make, but I think both heroes died to the Eclipse anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, exactly. No creeps there for him. Very unlucky for Pavtan, the creep deploy, making it harder for him to actually try to fight these Eclipses, but yeah, guys, Raz is going to be taking this down. It just completely locked Pavtan out of the game. Even with the lane 1 at 1 and lane 2 at 1, this is absolutely Crazy.
I'm going to.
I don't think I've ever seen this happen in a game of Artifact. Wow. Well,
Suits me. I'm not afraid of war.
and now even if Pavtan manages to take mid lane out, it doesn't really matter. So even with the Chain Frost and the March, let's see how much damage you can do. Draws an extra card, still 15 damage. Could potentially kill the OD and the Ogre. It's impossible to kill all these heroes. The question becomes, does Raz have enough damage? And I believe with a portal and potentially something else, he is going to. But let's see, if the OD dies and the Ogre as well, it's less 9 damage. I think he's going to be one short, potentially. But that's assuming good bounces anyway.
Excellent.
No, yeah, he's going to be short and in any case, looks like. But let's see how this thing goes. Goes to the right, makes... Oh, so many cards. It doesn't kill the Ogre. So 7 towers still on the damage, on the tower. Oh, and now there's a double prey. the Cloak of Endless Charge just providing Raz with exactly what he needs. So he's able to Dimensional Portal and double prey. And this game is over. Pavtan really needed to hit Vestures, and he didn't. Blink Dagger gonna be useless in here, and Raz knows it. Whoa, what a heartbreaker of a game. And the Ogre even multicasts just to add salt to the injury right there. What a game to open things up, man. That was a great start. So that's Raz winning on Mono Blue. Let's get that ×2 cross out of there. Deck 2. Whoops, that's the wrong one. Yeah, bear with me, guys. It's a one-man show here. Alright, so Mono Blue, the second copy of Mono Blue out of there, and Raz getting up one game in a matchup that was clearly not favored for him. Alright. So yeah, Pavtan losing this game is still going to be able to win twice with Mono Black if he so chooses. This is gonna be a huge blow to his confidence though, because this should really have been his game. I feel like the defining game was really that turn with the double deploy into mid. Now, obviously, I can't remember if Raz drew onto the Eclipse there anyway. But I just feel mathematically there's more ways of Raz getting rid of the two heroes at once than if they are separated, but I could be wrong, You know, despite having the perfect information of both players' hands, it's still hard to, to kind of get a feel for what the exactly correct play would have been. It just feels like Raz just had the game under his control all the time. He drew the Arcanes, he drew the double Thunder Gods, and then the Eclipses, never even needed the Annihilations. So, as I say that, players seem to have registered for game 2, so I'm just gonna update the score really quick. That's Raz 1 up. Again, this is a best of 3, guys. Losers bracket finals, whoever loses this is gonna be eliminated from the tournament. And the other thing I think important to say is that we've collected the 191 euros prize pool, guys. So I'm pretty happy with that. Really satisfied with the community contribution on this second season of the ACS. So we've gone over the prize pool for season 1. So thank you so much for contributing, and if you want to contribute, the link is still available. You can also !donate. You don't have to, it's much appreciated. All of it goes towards the winner. There's no fees from my end, just from the collection website. So there's that. Whew. Catch my breath for a second. So as we hype up for Artifact 2.0, if you are watching Axe, thank you so much for joining. The last hurrahs of 1.0. What a beautiful game, guys. So this time around, Raz picking up the mono red and Pavtan still on the mono black. So I wonder if this was if Raz was expecting this. Theoretically, now Raz should be having the slightly favorable matchup. He is playing a version with a double smash as well as a spot weakness and the Dresden standards, so we should be relatively well equipped for this matchup, guys. All of those cards, particularly the smashes and the Dresden's, relatively good in this matchup, a matchup that is already favorable to mono red to begin with. And once again, we're going to have to see how much gold Pavtan manages to amass. He's had a very productive round one, hitting a track kill on the LC, trading with the PA. But this is really how he wants to start this game. And he really wants to see either a cloak or he wants to hit paydays now. So let's see how things are going to progress here. Raz hitting the phase boots. Pavtan doesn't get the payday. In fact, he gets no more gold cards for this turn. He does have a gank and Jinada just procced. So let's pay attention to that.
I will restore order.
So I don't know how much Pavtan wants to avoid getting tower damage. If he really wants to get a good trade, he might choose to deploy the Vandal, but he wants to kill the tracked axe. Gonna go up to 30 gold for it, but he's gonna kind of almost give up this first lane. I mean, give up might be a strong word, but there was basically a 40% HP hit on his tower, so he's gonna have to make up for it by really hitting hard on this lane 2, excuse me, and he does so with the Disciple. I'm surprised he didn't play the Vandal. He might be keeping that for the last points of damage later on in the game when the red heroes are beefier. So loses initiative and Raz says, okay, let's stem the bleeding, and goes for the duel. Oh, this is heartbreaking. So Pavtan goes up to 30 gold, hits the cloak, and is 1 gold short of the horn. This would have been a game-changing horn, guys. Feels really bad for him. If you're a Pavtan fan, you gotta be shedding a tear right there. So Pavtan gonna have to play all 3 lanes, gonna have to spread that PA and the sniper along. Gonna put some pressure in lane 1, or some counter pressure in lane 1, if you will. Gonna stop Raz from hitting as hard. Pavtan gets a bit unlucky with the creep deploy though, right in front of the elite, right where you don't want it. And there isn't enough magic for Raz. Do keep in mind, this is a beautiful enough magic. If Pavtan doesn't drop the sensor or just drops, well, the cloak feels bad to play here. The sensor might be okay if he's smelling enough magic, but he might also play nothing. If he doesn't play anything, this is gonna be brutal though. So I kind of feel like you want to drop the state sensor. And I guess you want to keep the cloak for mid. Okay. This is a really painful cloak to drop, but you know, once you look at the general big picture in the game, I really think you cannot allow this to happen. This was a very unfortunate placement for this lane, a lane that he's already kind of sacrificed last round. And so he can't really accept taking so much damage. Now there is option for Raz to drop another Stone Hall or a Standard Bearer, and he goes for the Standard Bearer. Right. Not lethal on the tower, but now Pavtan can drop a Thyler Estate if he wants. If Pavtan gives back initiative, we are 100% gonna see enough magic here, I feel like. It's just a clean sweep, stops the onslaught from Pavtan. So right now, Pavtan's best lane for this round 3 seems to be lane 3, and there is a pair of phase boots. So Pavtan's had a great start. He's had a great start, but it's just going to be really difficult for him to come back here. It feels like it's starting to feel like it's going to be really hard. Obviously, he's gonna generate a little bit more gold, and that might just be enough. And as I said, that enough magic comes down. So beautiful, absolutely wipes that lane clean. Silver lining though, if Pavtan hits the horn again, that's gonna help him. But look at this item deck, dudes. It's a 1 in 9. No, it's a 1 in 11. No, he's got the cloak, right? What am I saying? 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's a 1 in 9, so it's correct initially. He's playing 10. He's playing 10 items in this list. Some decks playing 11. So this is going to be absolutely huge for Pavtan. Sees the cloak, that's going to prevent him from buying any horn at all. Like we said, very slim odds on him getting that second cloak on the list. Is this what he needs? It doesn't look like. Even though he's got the Tinker and the Bounty naked coming onto the battlefield. And the HP feels good. But he wants to keep those 20 gold up so that it potentially paydays. Well, the second cloak will potentially provide him with a bit more card draw, and he wants to really fight for that mid lane. But not having the initiative, Raz is going to be in a good spot here to potentially Berserker's Call. And recognizing that he wants to now potentially drop the Tinker into the lane 1. It's going to be presumably a 1 in 4 chance for that Tinker to place badly. If the Tinker drops here, it's going to be huge. It doesn't. So the Berserker's Call feels less sexy right now. There is a duel. This is a great duel on the Tinker. Wow. He's got phase boots, I guess. Yeah, he wants to keep the 12 damage available here. There is no Jaspers for Raz, so depending where this laser comes out. He might feel tempted to drop the cloak here, but I'm wondering, does he want to drop the cloak here? Right, he wants to keep his tower alive. He needs more time. He didn't draw into another payday, drew into another track, but oof, just doesn't feel like what he needs. And he's running down on time as well, so his next rounds are going to be a bit tougher to play. A little bit less wiggle room in comparison to Raz. Still wondering about the duel on the PA though. If it would have been good to potentially just kill the Tinker and pump the LC, because this lane is just gonna. It doesn't matter if you take the lane this round or next round. You would have gotten 2 heroes here, but I digress. Generally, you don't want to put your heroes together, but in this case, since they are two very beefy heroes with 2 armor, you don't really care as much. You're not as afraid as the Chain Frost as you normally are. So Pavtan goes on to mid with initiative, goes for the cloak. Doesn't feel as threatened here. The viscous nasal goo would signify an additional 4 damage due to the retaliate here. Could also drop a blink, but the nasal goo would probably set up for a very nice Berserker Skull next round, potentially. It's going to have a very nice sequence of rounds here with double spring into TOT and double blink. So it really feels like Pavtan's gotta get the gold machine running, and obviously he's gotta know that. I was gonna say he's gotta know that there's no way for Raz to really save this hero, because this deck doesn't play any cloaks. So he's gotta know that there's a couple of blinks. I wondered why he wouldn't want to track, but let's see. And there's a vesture. I'm sure we're gonna see him buy that. Into Jaspers, so not too bad. Hopefully he doesn't draw into a payday now, because that would make him feel bad.
Force surrender in 30 seconds.
LMZ, you want some music in the background or something? I would do that, bro, but I'm managing the tournament and the stream and the cast, so let's try not to juggle too many things at the same time. I did. Thanks for the comments though. Like, I'll keep that in mind. Just gonna have to enjoy Artifact's soundtrack. And out comes the first spring. Lane 1 is basically won, and Raz knows it. Like, this is just a matter of time. Unless Pavtan really wants to commit the Vestures here, but I guess it's his best lane for it. But even then, these guys are gonna just start hitting too hard. Jaspers would kill the Bristle. He might be considering assassinating though. It's funny how Raz is just giving up lane 3 and the sniper doesn't even do much. Oh, and he drew the payday. Oh man, that's so painful. Keep in mind that Pavtan's down to 3 seconds, guys. And sacrifices the creep, since the tower damage now not relevant anymore due to those Vestures. And a Berserking Tide, not something you see very often before round 6 or 7. So Pavtan contains the threat slightly in mid, but in first, excuse me, but now mid is becoming a threat in his own. On its own? On its own, yeah, excuse me. So yeah, it would be really nice to get the sensor off the table so that you open the option for TOT here as well. He might just opt to also blink into third to spring from there, because it's just so efficient to do that in terms of mana. No, he's just gonna go for the sensor. Doesn't even really care about the sniper, and he knows that Pavtan has to give up initiative if he wants to keep it alive, which I think he does. So time for some payday action, but unfortunately in round 5 it's just slightly late, if you will. But he's bought the Vestures, and he's bought also a couple of cloaks. So let's see. Hits the horn. That's absolutely huge. That's going to allow him to finally be able to put some gas, put his foot down on the gas pedal and put some pressure on the tower. And also potentially, if he's lucky, get some trades on those red heroes with the Thunderhide. So let's see how he deploys this.
Force surrender in 20 seconds.
Once again, these decisions are really important, but Pavtan is running out of time. A well-known roper, guys. Right, and as I turn around to get some tea into my mug, the TOT comes out. And, you know, ain't no Vesture gonna be able to stop that by themselves. So he's gonna need some additional help here. Now the question becomes, does he want to horn here? Does he want to horn in mid? What does he want to do really? The Raz set up for the Ravage next round. There is a Jaspers. So there's a lot to account for, but not enough time, not even close to enough time. And the TOT just makes the axe, you know, just makes the TOT just makes the Thunderhide pale in comparison to this axe. Still, phase boots are available, so one of the worst possible placements for Pavtan. Pavtan not getting the luck he really wanted in these first games of this best of 7. Out comes TOT number 2, and this is looking very, very difficult for Pavtan, guys. He doesn't have enough horns and enough Vestures to turn this around. Those items showed up relatively late on the curve for him. And just look at the tower damage piling. He's not even threatening lethal in the only lane that he's winning. A lane that Raz completely abandoned. And once again, the arrow's not favoring him. These creeps have been doing so much work, dude, in this lane. So much work. All of Raz's towers resting at 20 HP. And he can't even get the helm. To be fair, I'm not sure the helm would have been enough at this point. So 3 damage to deliver in first, and 7 to deliver in mid. How can Pavtan potentially stop this, though? It's just so difficult. Primal Roar. Pavtan got a golden ticket, I just realized. But at this point, not even a second Vestures would save him.
I will not sacrifice you yet.
Goes for the ticket, hits a broadsword. Not even close to what he needs. And unfortunately, it starts to really look like Pavtan's just completely out of options. I mean, he doesn't have Assassinate, the Chain Frost doesn't do anything against 4 TOT heroes. Raz has got more mobility right now. The March also feeling quite poor, as is often the case against Mono Red. And you will notice that the PA also was pushed onto lane 3. The previously abandoned lane, so the duel comes out just to confirm the kill on this tower, so Raz feeling super confident that he's got this. He can also blink the LC away, doesn't need so much damage. You can get a third TOT hero onto lane 3, and he's gonna do so, and that's gonna be sealing Pavtan's fate for this game too. So yeah, time to update the score, guys. Raz coming out of the gates super aggressive. Out comes the Chain Frost, but what can you realistically expect? Even if he takes this tower down, the game will just be over, unfortunately. So this is absolutely unnecessary from both players. Raz locking it, and that's a 2-0 for Pavtan right now. Once again, this is a best of 7, guys, and we're gonna see Monored's or Raz's second copy of Monored get locked out of his potential selections. So you will notice that Raz is one with both of his excuse me, what am I doing here? Both of his what the hell? With both of his second copies. Oh, okay. Right, I'm striking out the wrong thing. Too many scenes, too many sources. Bear with me. We're gonna be rolling on to game 3 ASAP. The players aren't wasting any time, I'll tell you that. So Raz down to 1 copy mono red, 1 copy mono blue, and red black lich. Let's see how it plays out. And let's have a look at what decks they've selected. So Pavtan going with red black mid range. Baby's list against mono red. This is a bit of a closer matchup, so we're getting a really nice range of matchups here. Raz won the theoretically bad matchup on mono blue against mono black, and then switched on to mono red, winning that, so winning from both an unfavorable and favorable position, and now we're going to see a bit of a closer one. Although mono red in general favored in this matchup. So Raz with the... wow, Raz is just having a much better early game hand than Pavtan. Pavtan's gonna need to draw into some spells to have more options in these early games. Let's see if any of the players gets a card to potentially kill the Animal Bristle beforehand. A gank would potentially do it, but that would be a 2-for-1. In the sense that the hero would be dying. Doesn't get it, so Raz doesn't get it either, though. And the Kraken Shell won't save him, so we're gonna see a trade-off here. And no obviously great spot for these stone halls. So I imagine we might just see this this standard bearer come down, and as I say that, it does come down. I thought Pavtan might want to favor the tower damage, but he didn't, and that provides Raz with a beautiful location to put that Stone Hall Elite. So yeah, Raz is better opening 5, just you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Just providing him a boost into the mid game. Both players generating a lot of gold. And not much in the ways of tower damage has been done yet, as you often expect in this matchup. It's all going to be about those stats, about those elites, and about the wideness of the lanes. Also notice that the PA ganks are at their worst in this matchup, because the PA doesn't necessarily always trade well with red heroes. And Pavtan's only black card right now is a Chain Frost, so this is completely... yeah, and he doesn't draw into anything else either. Completely open lane 1 and 3 for Raz. Things lining out really, really nice. And I wonder if he's gonna do all that just to get 11 damage on the tower. Oh, he's got the Veil, excuse me. Raz is gonna be feeling super confident here. Notice that he even gave up lane 3. This is something that I see some players doing quite often is, depending on the creeps, just abandon lanes so that you can assert dominance in others. Let's see how it's gonna work out for Raz. It looks like it might work out well because there's obviously no black cards for Pav to play, so... Interesting chump block here. He's probably gonna just one sub. I thought he might go for the enough magic to prevent that, but it didn't. So we're gonna see another elite grow. I feel like the enough magic might have been worth it. I don't know if he missed the phase boot swap, or I doubt that he missed it. So probably just feeling like he can take care of those elites at some point. Now double creeps onto mid, that's gonna potentially be good for Pavtan here. And Raz trying to figure out if he wants to now deploy into lane 3 or not. He's got a 50-50 of killing this Lich, so feels like he should really. I would have thought. Initiative for Pavtan otherwise. Triple deploying into first, looks like. I mean, if he is to have any chance of fighting back in that lane, he is gonna have to do something of that sort. But he ends up not going for that. It also feels like a very huge commitment. Not too bad. Gets a very nice Berserker's Call. That's basically what he needed to get this lane going. And if Raz is sneaky enough, he might want to heal this and see if Pavtan drops a cloak here, because if the Stonehall cloak comes down here, the Brawler could potentially kill the Bristle. So he's got to be assessing his options right now. Yeah, I really like this play. Really, really like this play. Pavtan out of mana, his only two options are dropping the cloak and the Jaspers. And he's got to be tempted to drop the cloak here because it's facing nothing, and there's an LC that potentially is going to die anyway. So it's really a question of where Pavtan really values his HP points right now. Oh, and he goes for it. Raz's heal paying off. This is such a good brawler. Such a good brawler. And even if those were phase boots, you would have to swap items, which would obviously not feel good. Oh, and Pavtan gets unlucky once again with the LC in front of the elite. My god, this dude's been just not his day, dude. Just not his day at all. Seems like he's losing all of the small RNG instances, like all the placements, the initial hands, the arrows on the sniper previous round, so just overall relatively unlucky. But let's see, the phase boots would allow potentially LC to swap with this elite, get a more favorable trade. I think Raz wants to wait for Pavtan to spend mana before he goes for something like that. So he might be... exactly. He might be considering the Berserker's Call, pumps the elite even further. And if I'm honest, I think he wants to keep pumping this elite. This dude's gonna be nigh unkillable if he keeps pumping it. And he only loses 2 tower damage by swapping, so I think we might see that happening. Plus no heroes coming in for Pavtan. Nor for Raz. Nor for Raz. And we will be entering Chain Frost round. So he is gonna swap. I like it. I really do like it. There's been so many kills, both players keep generating gold, so there will be hopefully some sort of healing action or more items for Tide to get beefier. In any case, Chain Frost Needs to bounce 3 times to kill him, so. And once again, Raz gets the 50-50 hit on the Lich. That's another hero off the battlefield. This is going to be a very, very tough round for Pavtan. Saving grace is having initiative, but I'm not even sure that that's good enough anymore. But I think he's got to go for it. Like, there's not going to be a better turn to play this Chain Frost than now. He's actually drawn into double TOT and he's got double Spring, so I feel he's got a Chain Frost. Hope that he kills this Tide, and if he's lucky, something else. He goes for it. And he got it. So all in all, a very good round for Pavtan, pretty much as good as it could have been. He wants to keep initiative and potentially Spring here. Question there is Spring onto where? This tower is taking 18. He could also just enough magic, but it's too much damage. So he springs onto here, gotta hope it doesn't hit the elite, and it doesn't. Well, actually he still got the phase boots, so maybe he actually wanted that to hit the elite. Although the elite, yeah, I would leave him at 4. So having come to that realization, starting to feel like Pavtan got slightly unlucky again. But Raz had the phase boots anyway, so. Whatever the case might be, I feel like Pavtan wants to drop the phase boots here. I don't think you want to allow Axe to be duelable, but he disagrees. And Raz valuing the tower damage here more than the initiative. I thought he might want to go for initiative. So putting pressure in all 3 lanes, and also because he doesn't have a TOT, I think this might be Pavtan's way back into this game. He held on to initiative, he's got the double TOT, he's got another Spring. Did he get a blink though? Doesn't seem like. So he's setting up for a double TOT in both lanes. And he's gotta hope that that's gonna be enough. Oh. I understand his reluctance because deploying onto mid, especially with 2 heroes, is gonna make for a very good primal roar potentially. But I'm not sure that that's what you want to defend. But let's see, it's gonna be tough. At least lane 1 is gonna be good. Unless Raz draws his own TOT, I think Pavtan might be in a good spot to potentially turn this around. Enough magics though. And I can't imagine that we're gonna see anything but a TOT. And now it comes. Now, there is options for Raz to try and go wide here, potentially. Can now phase boot away, can still drop the bronze Liago. So that would be 12 damage on the tower. And the brawler is still alive. Pavtan hasn't seen any of his duels. So yeah, with the addition of the bronze Lego, this is going to be 16. This is going to be really tough, also because he's holding on to those enough magics. It looks like Raz might just be able to go wide enough to sneak this tower from under of Pavtan. Does he spring here? I mean, it just buys him another round, but it's kind of what he needs now. Or does he choose to give up this lane? I don't think he can choose to give any lane up now because lane 1 just looks so bad. And now the options are dueling here, it will be 10 damage. Feels good. Okay, wants to kill the axe. The LC obviously gonna be alive at 1, and he can swap here. That's gonna be 6 damage onto the tower. Okay. Yep, looks like he's just happy enough to keep it as is, because he knows he's got such a dominant position all over the board. So Raz is really playing this really well. I mean, he's gotten lucky in some spots, but I think he's managed to he just knew how to take advantage of that. You know, he's played it really well, really managing to lever those RNG instances into advantageous board positions, and it's starting to look like this is going to be a 3-0. He does need to win 4 games to win the match, but it's looking very, very good for Pavtan. Denying that second TOT, getting the kill on the LC as well. So some lucky arrows for Pavtan now. He might be considering an enough magic of his own. If the Ravage were to come down, this duel on this creep would, or even without Ravage, right? But so there are options for Raz to take this tower down. But Pavtan's got to consider potentially blinking into saving mid. He's got a Berserkers. Alright. Killing the LC. Now mind you, the elite is still taking the tower down, so we're gonna need to see a blink there. Question is how and where. Raz just passes. He knows he's taking a free tower and Pavtan's gotta move. And dealing 4 damage to the tower is also not that bad, if we're honest. Also notice that because Raz got this musket from the secret shop, you can potentially drop a bronze Lego and take the tower here with another Lego as well, saving the duel potentially. Although those 5 mana on Pavtan's side still represent blockers here, so... yeah, I really like these plays by Pavtan. Now, if the axe does blink away, it does make the phase boots kind of useless, and it will basically mean this tower going down, 12 plus 4, 14, so the tower will be at 4, but he doesn't really care. He doesn't even care. So dropping the blink, a really good move, because it forces the decision back to Pavtan, and Pavtan already spent some mana. He's already not sure how to move here.
The sisters trained me well.
Okay, and he answers in kind. Interesting move, because if the PA would have blinked away, the tower would have died in lane 1. But okay, it seems like that's what Raz wanted to see there. So only 2 plays available for Pavtan here, a blocker and a hipfire. And there is a bronze legionnaire as well as a duel. It's going to be tough. Could drop the Jaggers to the Jaspers here. Yeah, Raz just managed to get too much pressure on every single lane. So this is a double checkmate, threatening 20 on the tower as well as lethal on the Lich, despite the phase boots. And I think that's gonna be that, guys. Even with the blocker. Raz sees the way to taking down a second tower in lane 3, and we're gonna be seeing Raz press the glorious blue button, guys. So that's Raz up 3-0. Raz has been playing really well. I wasn't expecting this this match to be so one-sided, but let's see how it progresses. We're gonna have to switch lobbies here really quick, guys, so bear with me. It should not be too long. So that was Raz winning on mono red, so yeah, no more mono red for Raz. Raz really getting into his opponent's head with his deck selections. We've seen him do this before. He's really maneuvering the deck selection really, really well. He's been doing this really consistently, not only the deck selection, but also like the decks that he chooses and brings to the table. He's just been doing this very consistently and very nicely lately, and I think that's really giving yeah, I'm tournament organizing, guys, give me a sec. Right, yeah, bear with me, guys, one of the players needs a bit of a sec.
Excellent!
Alright, that took a second, guys. Just obviously had to set up a second lobby, which was already previously created, but just need to get everyone in there so we can keep going, keep the show going, keep the show on the road. Thanks for the follow, Genesis Real. Hope you guys enjoy the games. So yeah, let's see if Pavtan can make a comeback here. He does have the better deck selection now. Raz is stuck with mono blue or red black lich. Let me not forget to change scenes, because that would be very sad if I did. Let's close invites and let's get going. So Pavtan hitting mono black again, and we're gonna see a red black versus black matchup this time around. Whoopala, what am I doing? Need to spectate myself. That would have been dramatic. Alright. Alright. So much better start for Pavtan this time around. This is what he needs to pick back up. Track kill in lane 1 into payday. Is there anything better, guys? Does it get any better than that? Another creep kill, up to 16 gold, and I'm sure we're gonna see a payday here. Oh, okay. I'm being greedy, Alright, I understand the play, because he feels like he can generate more gold. This axe is getting hit by the bounty. Things are lining up nicely for him. And chat is asking me for the bracket. Give me a sec. You ask and I shall provide. There you go. Alright, so payday still in hand, no more gold generation cards, and looks like the Tinker's gonna die, but oh, the Disciple, just beautiful. There is a Fernline Mantle, so the decision for Raz now is whether to save this Lich or the Axe. He's gonna want to save this Lich, because if he doesn't, this is gonna be a huge payday. Another 7 gold lining up. +1, 8. Oof. That's absolutely what this deck wants to do. Okay. I believe he reads it correctly by dropping the cloak here. And Raz's hand is just much it's just paling in comparison to what we've seen from him in previous games. So looking like a very good start for Pavtan here. I don't know exactly how this matchup is for him. This red black or red splash 1 black hero list generally doing better, or generally running the PA, not the Lich, so we don't have enough experience with this deck to know. Would be interesting to have Raz let us know what he thinks about that, but he's considering his options right now. If he wants to nasal viscous goo this Lich for future rounds. Yeah, and he does seem to think that setting it up for future kills will probably pay off. He does give initiative back. And now the question becomes, does Pavtan want to wait another round to payday? Or, yeah, this is where it's not so easy to understand with this mono black deck, if you want to like really just snap it off and go for it, or if you want to wait a bit longer. It feels like he really wants to wait longer to get like a very strong payday to win this whole thing. So 2 heroes coming in for both players, PA and Sniper, the Tide and the LC for Raz. Pavtan kind of questioning whether to abandon lane 3. It always makes me anxious abandoning lanes, but it seems like he's considering it really strongly and ends up going with a perfect split. Also gets a pretty decent spot for the Sniper here. Would have been okay to hit the Tide as well, but I think you're happier to hit the creep generally. We could potentially see a pick off into a hipfire into mid. Problem being they would be relatively easy to read into that, and there is a phase boots available. So it feels like Raz is kind of managing to block this economy growth from Pavtan, and it does start to feel like Pavtan is being a little bit greedy on the payday. So I'm really wondering if this is going to be the round where he does it. He's going for the pick off hipfire now. I have to say, I feel like if you're Raz, you probably Kraken Shell to prevent this. Because really the only reason to do that is if you're gonna hipfire. Oh. It's the second time that Raz picks up a musket. Surprisingly good, getting 7 damage on the tower. And it takes back initiative, reading it like a book. Just really good play from Raz. Drops the boots, prevents the hipfire. And man, I think if you're Pavtan, you just gotta just let it rip, man. You gotta play the payday. You could have played it from mid. Is he gonna keep waiting? Is he gonna wait? Is he gonna wait another round? Should have played that from mid, right? He had no other play in mid. Would have opened up the option to gank or hipfire from lane 3. So let's look at this shop. 26 gold, hasn't seen Vestures or Horn yet. Ugh. Getting blocked by the cheaper items, if you will. But getting double cloak is pretty good. He stays at 21 gold, and he's going to be drawing more cards. The Lich active is available, the sacrifice ability. And he's once again gonna be deploying onto that lane 1, gonna try to stave off the tower damage. He's doing a very good job. So I think this is this has been the game where Pavtan's been the best positioned to take the win until now.
I always find my mark.
Janata comes out. Jasper daggers could potentially get rid of those 2 nasal goos, and down comes the enough magic, preventing the item deploy, preventing saving the bounty, and getting a bit more tower damage in as well. So imagine we're gonna see the Lich draw into more cards. Because if he hits another payday here, I think he's very well set up to really push the advantage. Oh, and he sacrifices on the left. He will draw the second card anyway, so it's fine, but there is a phase boots. So kind of forces him to use that. Not too shabby. It does prevent them drawing another card though, so I'm not sure if that was the optimal play. It really depends how desperate he is to see another payday, really. Now Jasper's quite good, getting rid of the nasal viscous goo will prevent a 2-hit kill onto the Lich. Despite drawing all those cards, it still feels like he doesn't really have everything you need right, not quite yet, but he does have double Chain Frost. So he could potentially be trying to set up for a very nice next round. The Kraken Shell on the Tide means the Tide is a bit is safe from that. But alright, he opts to kill the LC, so I like this. He's gonna have a free lane now, and he's otherwise not too bad. If he sees a Horn, he's going to be able to buy it. There's not too much damage coming in quite yet. The problem is that Raz's own Chain Frost and TOTs and Spring the Trap are gonna get activated. So we'll see.
Axe will make good use of this.
Yeah, great swap. Getting the armor on the bristle gonna make these Chain Frosts even less effective. Gonna make every single damage card in his deck less effective, in essence. And despite killing the LC, this is not a lot of damage on the tower, so... He's got the decision of whether to keep initiative here or drop the Iron Fog. I don't think it makes a huge difference to get another 3 gold. He just really needs to get those horns now. Or potentially the helm. The helm wouldn't be too bad either. And he hits the horn. Okay, so this is what he needs. He debated there for a second. But I don't think you can wait on paydays anymore, man. I really don't. So since he doesn't play anything, he's got initiative here. He's got the Jaspers to counteract that Ravage as well. Sniper wants to go mid. He's got the headshot. Would potentially trade with the Bristleback as well. Now the problem might be here that if he wants, because it looks to me like the best lane to drop to have a Thunderhide would be lane 1, but if he drops the Horn here, he could just get Chain Frosted. Horn will bring this up to 9. Oh no. I think it would be really dangerous to drop the Sniper into left lane, because the Chain Frost could just kill both of them. And I think since this is a 4+1 Black Hero deck, I think we're just gonna see the Chain Frost come out from Raz if he gets a chance. So he could potentially just go for it, and he does. So that's good. That will prevent him from getting Chain Frosted himself. And that opens up the way for the Horn of the Alpha. Imagine we're gonna see a spring onto somewhere. Probably onto here. 15 gold items, relatively easy to read that it's a Cloak and a Jaspers. So he might want to save this Ravage for later, really. But if you're paying attention though, you will notice that there's a triple TOT in Raz's hand. So it is gonna become hard for Pavtan if all of those TOTs come out. And getting initiative due to the Horn means also that the Sniper will die, the Bristle gets another extra 2 armor, and he's gonna be immune to basically everything in Pavtan's deck except for this coup. And also, unfortunately, since this mono black deck is so thin on creeps and actual tower damage threat, this PA is just gonna be sadly unable to hit the tower. Really sadly, because I mean, it would be so good for him to be just getting free tower damage on here. This is, again, we've seen players like Kiwi do this, we see players like Raz do this all the time, where they just simply ignore a lane. Obviously deck dependent, but yeah, still, it's paying off. It really is paying off. And Pavtan takes the initiative. I think he kind of has to, but I imagine we're going to see the LC come onto left lane and threaten that TOT, and he hits a blink, so absolutely massive. Easy deploy for Raz. Pavtan sees a couple of blinks of his own, but this game is starting to slip away from him. It really is. Now, if the LC drops on the right, potentially the... Okay, it's not too bad because the Chain Frost actually could kill both of these creeps, representing a lot of tower damage as well, plus the siege damage there, so imagine we might see that. Then the question will be, what does Raz do? Does he TOT one hero? Which he might, but there is a laser and no Jasper daggers. So I have to expect we're gonna see a Chain Frost starting from the LC. Hoping to get lucky on those bounces and just kill the LC. And if he doesn't, he's still got the laser. Might be considering the coup, but I feel like the initiative is good here. Also clearing the creep also pretty good. So it goes for the coup, discards the Jaspers, there goes his Ravage protection, the TOT comes down. I imagine we're gonna see a laser come out. Just to keep the Stinker on the battlefield for one more round. That does give initiative back to Raz though, and as we obviously know, there's going to be a second TOT, and then I think followed by a blink onto lane 3 potentially, so again, this is starting to feel like a... Ooh. I like that. I didn't see that play. I really like that. Gets rid of the creep, prevents the Tinker dying anyway, and that's 20 damage on the tower. And yeah, Raz sees the Jaspers going away and answers with the Ravage. Forgot that was there for a sec. So very well played from Raz. And this sensor though will prevent a TOT here. I cannot imagine though that Raz is too worried about it because this confrontation is still looking very good for him. The Disciple could potentially threaten a trade-off between Axe and Bounty, as is the Phase Boots.
I will fight by your side.
So I'd imagine he's trying to keep the Disciple for lane 3. The problem here being that Pavtan really doesn't want to give up this lane, but he's once again, as in every other game, running out of time, running out of options, and now he wants to keep initiative, so there's no place for this Disciple to come down. So there's a Soul PA, ooh, Helm of the Dom in the secret shop, but not enough gold. So that PA, man, is just feeling so sad right now. The worst lane to have a PA on. You really want to gank from lane 1 onto other lanes. She's not doing enough tower damage, and the lane isn't growing wide.
In 30 seconds.
Is this gonna be it for Pavtan? There is a second horn activation, there is no enough magic for Raz. And unfortunately for him, this Fur-Line Mantle just puts this Lich out of Chain Frost's reach, and the Tide is now an absolute unit, so absolutely unkillable. He's got the second coup in hand, but he's gonna have to use it extremely wisely. All of Raz's heroes are now basically Chain Frost proof. Goes for the Thunderhide. Let's see how that bounces. Okay. Raz was hoping to get a kill there, and he does. So for a second there I thought that would have been pretty bad for him, but it wasn't actually that bad. So there's also still the option for him to steal initiative. But yeah, this is starting to look really, really tough. There's still a potion. Pavtan kind of wants to go into lane 2 with initiative. There's just so many cards in Raz's deck that just smash the sniper's face in. And he realizes that. But what can he do though? Goes for the second coup, so prevents a 2-man TOT, but I think we're gonna just be able... Yeah, I think this is kind of a no-brainer here. Pavtan's out of time, mind you guys. Alright, down comes the headshot, preventing the swap in front of the sniper. There's still a potion of knowledge. Pavtan's playing with fire here. Alright, so initiative on Raz's side. I think he can finally drop this Disciple here and take the lane. I don't think you want to drop the Oglodi because you're potentially going to need that into mid. Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Okay, that makes more sense. If he wants to blink away, then I think the Oglodi makes more sense. He wants to have two heroes in that lane. 15 gold. 15 gold means no huge items. Oh, what is that? That's gotta be the last nail in the coffin. Helm. Now the horn is off the table, but the helm is just gonna counter the horn when it comes back in. Wow, the secret shop. Secret shop really providing right there for Raz. Not that he needed it, because it's looking good either way, but he's coming into this lane with initiative, so let's have a look at what's gonna happen. This is a very sweet Chain Frost. And he's just gonna snap fire that. And not gonna be... I mean, oh wow, he doesn't keep initiative for the TOT in mid. Okay. He also doesn't need... Okay, exactly. He knows that 2 coups has been played. The odds of him having a 3rd coup are absolutely slim right now. He doesn't need the tower damage in this lane. So he just says, you know what? I can still take initiative with a Kraken Shell and absolutely smash your head in with my 3rd TOT. And that's gonna be Pavtan going down to RazDva 4-0. Wow, what an absolutely smashing performance from Raz. There's nothing to think about here, really. Enough magic almost ends the game. He's stealing the creep. This is absolutely unnecessary. And Pavtan knows it. And there we go, guys. Wow. What a series. What a dominating performance, man! I think Raz is making an absolutely beautiful run from lower bracket. Let me pull up the bracket for you guys. So a sec, I'll correct that for you guys. All right. So that's going to be Raz eliminating Pavtan from the losers bracket finals. Guys, it was a clean, absolutely clean win for Raz. 4-0 in this crushing best of 7. Pavtan have a decent shot at making a comeback there in that last game. Couldn't really quite take it. I wonder if he maybe could have gone for a more aggressive payday in round 1, if that didn't maybe make him lose some crucial time there while he was trying to get gold. But who is to say? Who is to say? It's always hard to see what the alternative line or road would have gone down to. So yeah, basically this brings us to the grand finals, guys. This is going to be DIQ versus RazDva. We're going to have to arrange for a time for that to happen, hopefully somewhere in along the next few weeks. If if you're enjoying this, guys, I hope you had a good time. Drop a follow, let us know. This is going to be uploaded onto YouTube, so you can also follow and subscribe there if you prefer to watch stuff over there. And otherwise, I will be notifying people on Reddit of when the grand finals happens. I'm going to be adding some more money to the prize pool myself so that we can get that baby over 200 euros, just for, you know, just to have a prettier number than 190 euros for the champion right there. And the championship finals are going to be, again, a best of 7. This is going to be a false double elim tournament, which means that the player coming from the winner's bracket doesn't get any advantage, doesn't have, or rather Raz doesn't have to reset the bracket at all. So it's going to be a straight up best of 7 in the same model that you just observed right here. So yeah, I'm basically wishing you guys, I'm wishing that you guys had a great time. Hope it's not too annoying to hear myself just talking to myself for 3 hours, but I guess it went faster. It went as fast as it could have gone, right? That's basically how this went. So all in all, a pretty good series to watch. Raz seems unstoppable right now, so I think, you know, the IQ is going to have to pay attention to what Raz has been doing here. I realized that with 2.0 just around the corner, players are losing a little bit of interest in maybe dedicating as much time as they would like to these events. So I want to also thank all the players for participating and taking the time to set things up and show up and play. Yeah, so once again, great, was a great time. It was great to have you guys, and I'm gonna be heading off because it's a beautiful day and I still can enjoy the rest of my afternoon because it was a quickie. All right, so thank you all for dropping by. Love, peace, have fun, enjoy, and yeah, let's keep long hauling together, guys.